Well friends, good afternoon to everyone. I just arrived at a person's lake and we're going to release some crayfish. The lake is small, about 170 to 200 meters long and around 40 meters wide. There are underwater springs and the person has an additional sensor, you see, so the oxygen and acidity levels in the lake are all good. This is Ukraine, Kiev region. Glory to Ukraine, glory to Ukraine. Yes guys, the crayfish is good, all green. The approximate ratio of males to females, so there are, well, for every 2 females, 3 males, that's the right ratio, the stocking density. Those who have watched my videos know that we put 5 crayfish per square meter, 3 males and 2 females here. Our size is mostly around 31 1/4 ounces. So next year these crayfish will already have eggs. There will be eggs here. Here are the females. See how beautiful they are, the beauty of crayfish. Preferably, guys, don't load them in a pile like this. It's better to just throw them onto the shore and they should go into the water on their own. Well, what can I say? It's a pleasant feeling. Releasing crayfish this way is much better than releasing fish. The first time I just dumped the bad fish in, but with crayfish it's actually much more interesting. Do you know why you shouldn't release them all in a pile at once? Why? Because look, the crayfish, see, look over there, see, it just sank. They actually take in air, you know? Yeah, they need to do that, and well, they have to release the air from their cushion, they need to let the air out, right? So that's why they should enter the water gradually, because if you do it all at once, there will be a big difference. Guys, in terms of numbers, there are about 600 crayfish here, maybe 650. Guys, maybe someone has a tench to release. It doesn't matter if it's small or big, so we can release a tench into the lake. And perch. Yes, Kiev region, and perch. But preferably the perch should be big, not the small ones. You know, the ones that don't grow any bigger, but specifically large, good, high quality perch. If you have any, please write to me. I would really appreciate it. For a snack, yeah, Olesia, today we'll have some good ones. Look, these are perfect little ones for a snack, like this. No, this is a nice little lake. By the way, it's already grown into fresh reeds. There was an excavator working here. It used to be a swamp. Everything was overgrown, completely overgrown. When the excavator was working, it scooped all this out and the springs opened up. That's why there was a new flow of water. The water filled up right away, got enriched with oxygen, and this kind of edge formed like a wall and along this wall. So, the crayfish will build their burrows so that they can bring everything in themselves. I like this, guys. Do you like it too? Oh, look. Along the line, look how beautiful it is. The beauty is unmatched. Launching the crayfish. Launching them is actually a very pleasant process, right? Tell me you even get pleasure from it. It's not like launching live crucian carp. So guys, take note of this, take note. If any of you have small ponds like this that are suitable for releasing crayfish, you can contact me without any problem. I've been working with crayfish for over 15 years. I know almost everything about them, so if you have any questions, write to me and we'll discuss it.
All the crayfish are alive and healthy, moving around on their own. They didn't just spill out.
It's unclear there, and
Смотри, красавчики идут, заходят. Они...
a lot you can already touch. That...
Как-то высыпал раки тоже у другого человека.
Yes.
Сидели, знаешь, на берегу.
More precisely,
how quickly it sets.
well guys, here I am at the store. I just arrived, not exactly on time. The power's out.
So, what's in the store? The store has different kinds of mushrooms, nuts, pistachios, and so on.
Dried porcini mushrooms, by the way.
If anyone needs it, we order honey, various shrimp, and black sea shrimp. By the way, right now there's no storm at sea, although the visibility is really bad, but it's okay, it's there. Amazing lightly salted fish, guys. You won't usually find fish like this in stores. The fish is just incredible. People order it all over Ukraine, and my fish is awesome. I especially want to highlight the roach and the bream. The quality is always top notch. Oh, by the way, yeah, the banner is still here.
What?
They look beautiful from Lagutkin. See, for those who say the store isn't mine, here you go. I'm filming crayfish from Lagutkin, real beauties. Take a look. It's still completely empty, but I'll try it now. See, there are two little spikes like this. These are the sperm ducts. That's what fertilizes the female, and the female doesn't have these. She doesn't have sperm ducts like this. These are empty. It's empty, but the male has them. Oh, look at how the boars have grown. The fluff, the nice crayfish. This is a nice crayfish. Look at these beauties. Just beautiful.
So you understand, guys, a crayfish can actually live even better without water than with water. It just needs cold. We cover the refrigerator with cloths, keep it constantly moist so it doesn't dry out, and it will live. For example, it can live for a week without any problems. It doesn't die. After more than a week, it starts to die, so you have to sort through them. But for us, crayfish don't stay here for more than 4 days, maximum 4 days, and they're constantly being replaced. Well, guys, that's our little shop, but we've been working here for a while now. Here, specifically in this place, it's Kyiv, Lysrudenka 6A opposite the Korizay. I'll leave all the contacts in the description under this video. Friends, who is from Ukraine, I'm especially addressing those of you from Ukraine. Check the description, all the contacts are under this video. Join my group on Viber. There you can always find the latest information about the available products and their prices. Whenever there's a new arrival, I always go to the store and take videos and photos so that you can see what the products look like in real life. All the photos and videos are taken by me personally, in real life. So check it out, there's a website and a Viber group, all the information is there, join in.
There are also these gorgeous mushrooms. Look at these beauties. This is a Carpathian porcini, not wormy at all. It's an autumn mushroom. 2022 first category. The whole mushroom looks like this. Just look at this handsome one.
You can also order acacia honey. It's very tasty. 320 hryvnias per liter. All the necessary documents are available for the honey and the fish. It's not that easy to find honey like this.
This is how it looks. Look what a beauty. This is how it looks.
There it is, Kolizai, and the store is across the road, opposite. I want to respond to some comments that you wrote a couple of years ago under that video, which by the way has already reached 2 million views. If you're interested, check it out. So the first question, the first comment, how long do crayfish grow? Crayfish grow basically for a long time depending on what size you want to raise them to. Well, for example, let's say we release crayfish weighing 35 grams and the next year they will already be about 55 grams, so that's 20 grams. Roughly speaking, that's the growth. But at first they gain weight like that, then they gain it worse and worse. The bigger the crayfish, the slower it gains. Next, what is the depth of the reservoir? Look, the depth of the reservoir can actually vary. From 1 meter to 20 meters, it doesn't matter what the depth is. The main thing is what the bottom is like, the oxygen level and the acidity level in the water. If all the tests are normal, those indicators I mentioned, then basically it doesn't matter at all. I have reservoirs where crayfish live, where the depth is about 1 meter, maybe 1.30 meters, so up to 1.5 meters deep, and they live there perfectly. The water is murky, the bottom is completely clay, there's zero visibility, but the crayfish still live and overwinter there and everything is fine. By the way, even in this reservoir, which is about 3 hectares, there's no aeration at all, so it's completely without aeration if the reservoir is deep. And on top of that, there are also underwater springs that constantly flow, so basically aeration isn't needed at all. Well, in the worst case, you can let some ducks in, the ducks will swim and provide aeration for you. How do you catch them afterwards? Well, it depends. If the water isn't clear, then basically 90% of the crayfish are caught with crayfish traps. If the water is clear, you can actually enjoy diving and collecting them by hand, but mostly it's with traps. How do you feed them and with what? If there's a good food base and the body of water is large, where there are different kinds of fish swimming and so on, basically a natural body of water, then you don't really feed them anything. They feed themselves there. They usually prefer plant-based food, or sometimes insects and bugs like mosquitoes, worms, and so on, but they don't really prefer that kind of food. If the body of water, let's say, has a poor food base, then I use another method by unpacking.
Что раков нельзя выращивать в УСВ. Это такие диваны.
Assembling the food. Honestly, these so-called mom's businessmen are really annoying me. Show me at least one. Send me a link. I'm addressing those kinds of commentators. If you watch me, send me a video or an article or something somewhere so I can take a look. How can you grow a broad-fingered crayfish in a closed system? You just can't grow it in a closed system. There are two options for raising them, guys, too. I made a video, damn, a 13-minute video, really, and people look at the book and see nothing. I went to the warehouse, showed my tanks, and some people even commented about it. Is that really a business for you with that kind of warehouse, with that kind of store for the guys? Half a ton of crayfish is kept there, half a ton. But if for you, half a ton of crayfish is not enough for temporary storage, then that's how it is. But I don't know what business means to you, let me know. Crayfish, especially the broad-clawed Australian type, can only be kept temporarily in open reservoirs. You can breed them as with our crayfish. What kind of business is this? 150 to 200 kilograms per year duosang. In that video I said, so what? I said it concisely, clearly and plainly. I'll show you using this pond as an example, how much I can raise using this pond as an example. So I'm giving you an example and explaining how much I get from the pond. I gave the example of the pond, and now you can see this pond on your screens. From this pond, I get 150-199 kilograms per year, so a maximum of 200, but usually 120-150 depending on the year, since every year is different. So I showed it as an example and people write, is this really a business? What kind of business is this? Well, gosh darn it, guys, I've been working with crayfish for 15 years, but of course, you can't really make a business out of selling them. So, 150 kilograms. Well, I sell 200 kilograms a week, 200 kilograms a week. Of course, besides this reservoir, there are also many other large bodies of water, not just mine, not just from people I know, but reservoirs I make arrangements with. We work together on various mutually beneficial terms. That's how things work, basically. Why are the consultations paid? Because, well, first of all, I value my time, that's the first thing. And secondly, those guys who ask why the consultations are paid, in 99.9% of cases, they will never start any business, they just have nothing to do. They're just lying on the couch, some guy named Vanka, get up already. He decided to message me or write something like, hey, tell me about this. No, I'm bored today. It's like everyone at home is just sitting around, you know? Seriously. Well, if a person doesn't even have $100 or $200 or $300 for a consultation, then I think they don't need this business at all. How much money do you need for such a business? For this kind of business, that's a broad concept. Guys, everyone has a different picture in their head. You know, for some people $200 is a lot, for others it's nothing. I don't know. It depends on whether you have any bodies of water and what kind they are. If you have nothing, you'll need a lot of money, but if you already have something, you'll need less. So, you have to calculate anywhere from $500 to $5 million. What kind of body of water is considered suitable for crayfish? Any body of water that meets the conditions is considered suitable for crayfish. Good oxygen level in the water, proper acidity level, availability of food sources, and suitable soil. If you have a lot of silt at the bottom, well, damn, crayfish will never live there. But if you have a clay bottom, or clay with sand, or clay with a bit of silt, or just a little silt, then the crayfish will be able to find burrows, find places to build burrows, and so on. So that's considered a suitable body of water. By the way, there's also a comment about this. The crayfish doesn't need the area of the pond, but the shoreline. I always say that the crayfish needs more area, and the more area there is, the more crayfish there can be. The maximum stocking is 5 crayfish per square meter. 3 males and 2 females. If your crayfish needs area, well, not area, but shoreline, why do you think that? I have a bunch of ponds where the crayfish don't dig burrows at all along the shoreline. Not at all, because the pond isn't suitable for shoreline burrowing. So, the water is shallow there, almost knee deep, so the crayfish don't dig burrows there. The crayfish build their own burrows and sieves. If the depth there was a meter, for example, or 1.5, 2 meters, and you had a steep drop like a wall, then the crayfish would dig a lot of burrows. But when there's no depth, they won't. That's it. Here I'll show you an example with this edge. Not exactly outside the edge. Here's the shore. Let's say it's sloping gently, then suddenly there's a steep drop off. It could be, let's say, 20 centimeters, 30 half a meter, or a meter. So a kind of wall forms there. It can be anywhere in the body of water, even in the center or near the shore. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be attached to the shoreline. So on these drop-offs, on this wall, it makes its burrows right along this wall. They also spend the winter there, especially along these drop-offs. They like to overwinter there. So the shoreline doesn't matter here. What's important is the bottom of the reservoir. Whether it's suitable for building burrows, is it suitable? I want to add from myself that during the winter period it's basically impossible to catch crayfish. They go dormant, they completely go dormant. The most you can find there is if you dive in and the water is clear, maybe you'll see their antennae sticking out, or maybe the edge of a claw nearby, but basically there's no way. In Rekalovka you really can't catch it at all, just to clarify. So the way we catch it and why we always have it in winter, basically all year round, is because we stock it up on the shelf. Fish like carp, basically, fishermen know, especially those who fish for a living, they know there are fish shelves and crayfish are loaded onto these shelves. For example, in late November, early December, or even mid-December, before the ice is removed and it's still being caught, it needs preparation. And basically it sits safely on these shelves. Even when the pond is frozen over, they would cut a hole in the ice. When you need a crayfish, you take out the shelf, take as many crayfish as you need, bring them and sell them. The first option, or the second option, is to keep them in pools. As you can see on your screens, you can also keep them in these kinds of pools for about 2 months. Well, you need to feed them, of course, and make sure that the water doesn't get polluted. So basically, this way you can also keep and sell crayfish during the winter period. Also, a lot of people are asking how else you can make money from keeping crayfish. Many people do make good money, guys. Yes, you can make money not just from keeping them. You buy crayfish, as I explained, at the end of autumn and sell them in January. If you have how to do it, then you can do it. But again, man, you can also mess up. Why? Because sometimes you take the crayfish, or you didn't keep an eye on the water, or something else happens. First of all, cannibalism is very common among them. If you put a few more in the tank, they already start eating each other. If you don't feed them, they eat each other. So basically, the game might not be worth the candle, or maybe it is. You have to try and decide for yourself. And now I'm addressing those people who live in Ukraine. Friends, if you have your own ponds and you're interested in breeding the broad-fingered crayfish, all the contacts are in the description of this video. You can write to me and we'll talk. If I missed any of your questions, please write to me and I'll respond as best I can. Also, it's possible that I missed some topic because you can't keep everything in your head. I never prepare material in advance, I just film whatever comes to mind. Suggest a topic for discussion and we'll definitely go over it. In the next video, let's discuss any pressing questions you have. Write down the questions and the ones that get the most likes will be answered. We'll base the next video on those questions. Alright guys, if you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button. If you didn't, hit dislike. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the most interesting stuff. Good luck, see you next time. Bye!